Hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are gonna have some fun in the kitchen and be doing a little bit of meal prepping. So when I was thinking of like what exactly I wanted to focus on in this video, I'm like, do I want to do like a low carb meal prep? I'm gonna scratch all of that kind of stuff and literally show you what I actually eat on a regular basis that keeps me full all day, gives me the nutrients that I need, and also to make sure that I'm not just like consuming stuff that's not necessarily good for my body, but being reasonable at the same time. So I got this book. I actually think I found this at the Dollar Tree. It's called Just Eat. And honestly, like at the end of the day, that is what I do. I make sure that I'm eating foods that are like nutrient rich and also like good for you types of foods, but I'm not really super limited as well, because like if I want to have like a little ice cream bar, I'm gonna have a little ice cream bar. So this is gonna be a super easy and realistic meal prep. So we're gonna be covering snacks, smoothies, breakfast, and lunch for the next 3 days. So I know everyone has like a different idea of how long they make food in advance and then we'll still eat it. I'm not saying there's like a hard fast rule or anything, but for me personally, I don't like to eat food that's more than 3 days old. So I'm only gonna be meal prepping for the next 3 days, which kind of works out because this is like a holiday weekend. So I'm only working Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday anyways. So it'll be perfect for what I need to get through the week. And also like, I just don't wanna feel like the food has gone bad or anything. Like, I don't have time to risk it, especially like with my gut health. So we're gonna do 3 days. That's my recommendation, but I don't think there's like any necessarily like scientific backing behind that, but definitely I think 3 days is a good safe zone. So yeah, definitely check out this book if you can get your hands on it. I feel like it was just really great. It went over like all of the different like diet fads from like the 1950s up until today. And at the end of it, it was like just eating real food, not a ton of processed things, not a lot of fast food is what helps you kind of stay on track with your health and wellness goals. So that's what we're doing today. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna like, it's really gonna be a little jumping around between the snacks, the breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I mean, not dinner. Between the snacks, the breakfast, the lunch, and the smoothie, because I'm kind of prepping it in order of what's gonna take the longest. My goal is to finish up meal prepping in about 30 to 45 minutes because it doesn't need to be something that's like a burden that consumes so much of your time. So I'm gonna like put the rice on first, like because that's probably gonna take longer. And then I'm gonna start rinsing my fruit so that can get nice and clean before I use it. Things like that. So we'll be bouncing around, but at the end, we're gonna have some great meals for the week.
The blush when somebody says your name. In my stomach there's a pain. You walk in my direction, I go the other way. I start to stutter when you speak. Trying to stand up, my knees go weak. What's happening to me? In the dark, can you tell me what it means? I lay my head on my pillow, staring out the window, trying to stop for a sign. It's the reason why. I scribble X and O's in my notebook, checking how my hair and my nails look.
All right, so while all of that is soaking and cooking, we're gonna go ahead and make the smoothie. So I don't have necessarily like a set smoothie recipe that I make every time. I kind of just see what I have in the fridge, what's probably about to go bad, and then I make my smoothie with all that stuff. So I am starting off with a couple of apples. I'm mixing, this is an Envy apple, and then that's a Granny Smith apple. So the green one's gonna be more sour, and then the red one's more sweet, just to have a couple of different flavors going on. So again, chop this up pretty roughly, basically just making sure that the core is not in there. All right, so I'm gonna drop all of those in. And the raspberries, I've already rinsed these, so I'm gonna use the whole container and just dump that on top. Also, just for like a little bit more nutrients, I'm gonna put in some flax seeds. And then I'm gonna top that off with some kale. Okay, perfect. Now I have like a strange thing about milk and fruit together. So I don't use any kind of milk in my smoothies. I'm actually gonna use this like power juice. It's from Trader Joe's. It has cranberry, purple carrot, red grape. I thought it had beets in it. Oh, this side. Blueberries, pomegranates, tart cherry, and black mulberry. Any juice will do, but I figure why not use one again that has some more nutrients. All right, I'm gonna move this on the blender and then we'll blend it up.
In the zone, you're nervous when you go. I say I'm not home. See your face and I hear my favorite song. Should I send an email at home? You're the number one topic on the phone. I wonder if you know, or do you have a clue? Yeah. I lay my head on my pillow, and you got me staring out the window. We were showing stars outside. What's the reason why? Yeah.
All right, the color is slightly terrifying, but I promise it is really good. So with that, just one envy apple, it adds like such a nice sweet taste to it. So because I'm pre-making these, it's not like an icy smoothie. So what I usually do is just pour it over ice in a cup when I want to use it throughout the week. Or another option would be just to combine this with ice and blend it up again on the day that you're ready to use it. So for the smoothies, I don't necessarily use these as like a meal replacement, but I feel like it's a great snack to have throughout the day. Like if I'm hungry, but maybe it's like closer to dinner time, or if after breakfast, I feel like I want a little something different. A smoothie is a great option. So I've got 3 of these ready to go. And these jars are really great and they're nice and sealed. So as long as you keep them in the fridge, they should be pretty fresh for a few days and you'll be good to go. All right, I'm gonna slide these over. I'm gonna go ahead and prep my fruit and veggie jars. Let's start with the veggies. I'm gonna finish rinsing them off and then we'll put them in little jars. So again, keeping it simple and easy. I made I think it was like a YouTube short about these like little veggie jars before. So one of the things that I love about them is it's so easy to grab and go. But also it's like, you know, when your fruit and veggies aren't prepped, you're probably not going to actually grab for them because it feels like so much work to prep them throughout the day. So just pre-prepping these in this jar has been life-changing. For one, it's easy to grab when I'm on the go, which is nice. So I don't end up like trying to pick something up just because I'm hungry. But also like even around the house, it's nice to have a little healthy snack ready. And I really like, sorry, you probably cannot hear me. This ranch dip is so good, like better than any ranch dip I have ever had before. So usually I'll just eat this with that, but also you can eat it with like hummus, guacamole spread, whatever you really like, or you can just eat them on their own. And again, putting them in this jar, making sure it's sealed and refrigerated is going to keep them nice and fresh for a few days. All right, next set of jars is for fruit. So I'm gonna rinse those off and bring them over. All right, so I'm pretty sure I made too much fruit for these little jars. So I'm gonna fill them as much as I can. And then everything else I'll put in a bowl, again, for easy access. So this time I'm just doing green grapes and strawberries. So nothing that needs to be cut up or like extra prep. Remember, you want to make this as simple of a process as possible so that it's something that you can maintain. So now everything else is just gonna go in here. Again, a nice like tight seal, keeps them fresh longer. And then that just goes in the fridge. All right, snacks are done. Now let's get into this food. So for lunch, I'm gonna be, why isn't this working? There we go. So for lunch, I'm gonna be doing burrito bowls. So I'm gonna go ahead and chop up some bell pepper an onion to get started with just like a little veggie base for the bowl. So I heat the olive oil up first because I want it to really like kind of scorch these to where they cook pretty quickly, but also they have like a little bit of that like wrinkled burn on them. I think that's when it tastes the best. So I'm heating my oil up while I chop to save some time. Again, we're going to save time. I have this roasted corn from Trader Joe's, so I'm going to add that in with the other veggies. I'm also going to do some black beans for the bowl. I'm going to heat this up a little bit in a pot. And then I'm just going to season that with garlic salt, black pepper, and onion powder. Pour in a little chicken broth so it doesn't get dried out, so also doesn't lose flavor. And let that start boiling. So I'm going to get started on the bacon. So this again is just Trader Joe's uncured dry rub sliced bacon. I picked a random pack, no rhyme or reason, but I'm going to use the bacon for breakfast, and then also I'm going to put some in my little snack wraps. So I want to have at least 2 pieces for breakfast every day. So I need 6 for that. So what is that? 5. Okay, so this covers breakfast. And then I want to have at least 1 piece for each of my little wraps. So I'm going to try to fit 3 more slices in here. Once they start to shrivel, it'll make it a little bit easier for everything to fit. The veggies are done. Let's check in on these beans. They're looking pretty good. I think a couple more minutes on these. So in the meantime, let's cut up the cilantro and finish the rice. So I'm making a cilantro lime rice. I just do a pretty rough chop of the cilantro. I like cilantro a lot, so I don't mind if there's like bigger chunks in it. Then get rid of the stems. Some stems get mixed in, but I don't keep like the very bottom portion of the stem. Okay, so after that, this is hot. I'll just put the rice here. Adding in the lime juice. Of course, it needs like a little butter flavor, so I use this organic buttery plant-based spread from Trader Joe's. I would say about that much. Then I add in the cilantro. I need to get a chiffonade so I can easily pick up all this stuff. Okay, and then I add some more salt that's not cooked in, so it can be like a nice coarse salt in there. This is very similar to like a chipotle bowl. I keep forgetting this is hot. So then I just mix all of that together. All right, so now I'm gonna start making the bowls. And of course, this did not go as fast as I was hoping. And I have a client session. So after I put the rice, the beans, and the veggies in, I'm gonna go do my session. And then when I come back, we will finish up the meat and make our little snack wraps, and we'll be done. So filling the bottom. I love rice. So my bowl consists of mostly rice. This is just jasmine rice that I have made into like a cilantro lime rice. Even like when I go to Chipotle, I get double rice. It's just so good. Alright, so now our beans are done. I use a spoon with a hole in it so I can kind of drain it a little bit. And put a nice layer of beans. And then I go in with my veggies, top that off. If you want to like make it super pretty, you can kind of like do the corn separate from the bell pepper and onions, but I just do it all in one pan. And then I'm about to rinse this pan out and use the same pan to make my meat. So again, make it as easy as of a process as possible, because this like dish pile is becoming a bit much. All right, so last thing before I go do my session is taking out the bacon. It looks so good. Let me slide this back. So I just put it on a paper plate with a paper towel. So that's perfect because while I'm in my session, this can cool down, kind of drain some of the grease off. You can also use turkey bacon, but I didn't see any at Trader Joe's, so regular bacon it is. It's gonna get nice and drained. Looks so good. I want to take a bite, but I only made exactly enough. So I'll be back after my session. We'll make the wraps and make the meat. I think we're done. All right, we are back finishing up. So this is ground beef. I use the 96% lean and the 4% fat. And then I like to use this like little Pampered Chef tool thing. Actually, I think I got this from Amazon, but they have one on Pampered Chef too, to kind of chop up the meat, make it really nice and small. So since I'm going to be adding taco seasoning, since we're doing burrito bowls, I don't like to do too much seasoning on the meat, but of course we do still need some. So I'm going to go in with some black pepper and some onion powder, garlic powder, and very little seasoned salt, because again, the packet is pretty salty. So just mash that all in. Yes, you should season your meat before you cook it. That's how you get the most flavor. So now while that cooks, I'm gonna go ahead and make the little breakfast bowls. So this is pretty much the quickest and easiest part. So I just have a little like arugula, spinach, kale mixture. I got this from Trader Joe's. Sometimes I'll do dressing on it, feta cheese, just different things depending on how I'm feeling that morning. And then I'm gonna go in with eggs, only one egg since I cracked that last one. And then 2 slices of bacon. And that is the breakfast. Super easy. Again, quick grab, but like pretty filling, good amount of protein, and I like to get some greens in the morning too, so I don't have to worry about it later. Just gonna close these up, finish up the taco meat while I also make little snack wraps. So for the snack wraps, so it's like if I don't really feel like having the fruits or the veggies, I want something a bit more filling, then I like to do a snack wrap. So I use this lavish bread from Trader Joe's, and then we're just gonna quickly fill it up. All right, so before we do that, The meat is at like a pretty good place. It's like halfway cooked. So I'm gonna add in some of this Trader Joe's seasoning, taco seasoning mix. Don't use the whole thing because it is very spicy and it's kind of salty too. So just enough to get some good coverage. And then I like it to be a nice texture, so I added a little bit of chicken broth and also tomato sauce. I'm not going to use the whole can. I'd say about half a can. And go ahead and mix all of that together. And it's just going to finish cooking down while I work on the wraps. All right, again, nothing like that's a ton of work or fancy. I just rip this in half. One more, rip that in half. Since I'm only doing 3, I'm just gonna put the other half back in here and save it for next time. Now I don't put any of like the sauces in because I don't want it to get soggy. So again, you can add like dressing or dip it in something once it's all done. So now we just pretty much go down the row and add everything in. Okay, cheese first. There we go. Then some chicken. It always like breaks apart, so I just kind of take a chunk of it, put it in there. You could also add tomatoes to this if you are a fan of tomatoes. It's really good. Bacon, and then 2 pieces of romaine. Wrap it up. And I love this bread because it's like the perfect texture for wrapping. Then lastly, one more. Cheese, chicken. That's probably way too much, but I'll eat that one on a day that I'm really, really hungry. Bacon and lettuce. All right, last step in the process, adding in the meat. So as you can see, these are all like really, really filling. There's a chance that I probably won't even necessarily get through like all of my snacks and stuff, but it's nice to have everything on hand and meal prepped. Okay, that is it. So now I'm gonna top these off. I'm gonna let them cool down just a little bit before I put them in the fridge, but they are ready to go. All right, we are done. This is my weekly meal prep. Got the fruits, veggies, and smoothies ready, little breakfast trays, burrito bowls, and protein wraps. So that is pretty much what I eat throughout the week. Okay, we're done. I will say that probably took longer than I anticipated, probably more like 45 minutes to an hour instead of 30 minutes to 45 minutes, but definitely worth it. I don't have to deal with breakfast, lunch, or snacks for the rest of the week. I can make sure I'm fueling my body with like good, healthy, nutritious things that I actually enjoy. And then for the burrito bowls, I just made all the hot ingredients. So when I'm ready to eat them, I'll add like tomatoes, cheese, sour cream, salsa, guacamole, all that kind of stuff to the top. And that pretty much is a really great, substantial, like, I don't feel like I'm gonna be hungry, but I also feel like I am still trying to monitor and make sure that I'm not just filling my body with junk. So I've got all this good food and I'm excited to eat it this week over the next 3 days. I hope you enjoyed the meal prepped along with me. I hope you got some great ideas if you're trying to figure out what to meal prep for yourself as well. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at Affirmations with Amber. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at Affirmations with Amber.